Lebanon-based Hezbollah says it fired rockets towards Israel, calling it a response to Israeli air raids inside Lebanon. No serious injuries or damage has been reported. But in Lebanon, people are growing very frustrated with Hezbollah's influence in the country, especially after what has been such a tough week this week, which marked the first anniversary of the Beirut port blast and its impact. Now, after the blast, you'll remember, French President Emmanuel Macron said Lebanon wouldn't be able to access any aid money until a government was formed there, and a fully restructured government. Well, here we are, 12 months later, and Lebanon still hasn't formed that government. Sami Gemayel is a former member of the Lebanese parliament and leader of the Lebanese Kataib party. He joined me for a discussion which included a discussion about Hezbollah. We started, though, by discussing the people's demands in Lebanon for answers and accountability in the investigation over that port blast a year ago. Have a listen.
No one should be above the law, whether it's the president or the prime minister or anyone in Lebanon should be above the law. This is what we witnessed on the 4th of August was a crime against humanity. It was a dramatic event that will change the course of history in Lebanon. And anyone who is responsible, who knew about these explosives in the port of Beirut should be held accountable.
You said in a recent interview, and I quote you here, everyone knows who is responsible for the port. Everyone knows about the existence of nitrates. Everyone knows who received correspondence about the danger of their presence, who was guarding them, and how they were used to drop barrel bombs in Syria. Who are you suggesting is to blame here? And if everybody knows, why have we not seen any accountability?
I don't want to be a judge here. It's the role of the judges. My role as a political responsible in Lebanon is to ask the right questions. My question is, was this reservoir in the port of Beirut, this huge hangar in the port of Beirut, was it like a place where Hezbollah facilitated the, as you said, the transfer of nitrate to Syria so that it is used by Bashar Assad to bomb its people? And I think that here the international community should help, because this is not an internal matter. When it has to do with Iran, with Syria, it became a regional and international issue and not a domestic Lebanese issue.
Do you see any evidence to date that the international community is interested in actually helping out to get to the bottom of this investigation?
We heard bits and pieces. There was a report from the FBI saying that only 500 tons exploded, 500 tons of nitrate exploded in the port of Beirut, when we all know that the original amount was 2,700 tons of nitrate. So there is 2,200 tons missing. Where did it go? How did it disappear? We need the international community's expertise. We need their technological means, especially the satellite means. And I don't think that the Lebanese domestic judiciary is capable of having this much resources.
Do you accept that you represent a part of Lebanon's broken sectarian system? And do you take some level of accountability for the catastrophe that Lebanon is facing at present, sir?
We have been confronting this political establishment for the past 6 years. We resigned from the government in 2015. We resigned from parliament in 2020 after the explosion. And we are proving every day that the Lebanese need something new. And we want to be part of this because we believe in a new Lebanon. And it is our job as new generation to be able to transform ourselves and to look to the future and not look to the past.
Let's talk about what's going on the ground as the newly appointed Prime Minister Najib Mikati says He plans to build his cabinet in the next couple of weeks. Are you confident that he can do that?
As long as the same players are playing the same game again and again, we will have the same results. You can give to two different chefs the same ingredients and you ask them to do the same thing, you will have the same main course at the end of the day.
Your party is among those accusing Hezbollah of forming a state within a state and blaming them for the weakness and dysfunctional ties inside Lebanon. The Prime Minister-designate Mikati has said he, quote, knows his limits in the relationship between Hezbollah and Iran, and that he does not want Lebanon to be, and I quote him here, a conduit for conspiracy against any Arab country. What do you understand his point to be here? And let's be quite clear. To your mind, how big an influence is Iran on Lebanon today?
Hezbollah is not a purely Lebanese party. It is formed by Lebanese citizens, but its hierarchy it goes up to Iran. And I'm not the one saying that. It's Mr. Hassan Nasrallah, the Secretary General of Hezbollah in Lebanon, stated very clearly that his leader was Mr. Khamenei, which means that the decision of Hezbollah is in the hands of Iran. And when Hezbollah controls Lebanon, it means that Lebanon is in the hands of Iran. Iran is totally in control of Lebanon through Hezbollah and its weapons and its militia.
Sami Gemayel speaking to me a little earlier this week.